So in this video, I want to teach you all about annotations. You can see in this project, I've got some annotations already set up around the house. I'm going to add one here to the shingles, and I'm going to modify these because these are done incorrectly. Let's start by showing you how to use this tool. We'll go Annotate, and then Text. You can also always get there just by clicking on the little text in your Quick Access toolbar. But either way, Annotate, then Text. The shortcut you can see here is TX. I prefer for my shortcut to actually be TY also, so that's one that I've added, and this is because T and Y are just next to each other. So I'm going to do my shortcut, and then there are different options that you can use for text. You can have a curved leader line, a straight one, or one with two segments. We want the two segments. Okay, and then I'm just going to point here to my shingles. I'm going to pull this back and then straight across, and that always needs to be straight across. We don't want that second segment to go at any kind of an angle. Okay, and I'm going to say in all caps, asphalt shingles, and then RE roof plan, which just means refer to the roof plan for more information on that. That's what the RE means. Okay, and if you wanted to, if you felt like the text was getting too long, you could select this and you could put it onto just one line of text. You can also change the position of this leader line by using these controls. So because this one is on the right, these ones over here on the right hand side will make an adjustment. I can put it in the middle of the text, I can put it at the top, or I can leave it down here where it was at the bottom. On multi-line text, it's kind of nice to put it up here because you don't want it running underneath some of the text up above. If it's not multi-line, then it really doesn't matter. Okay, and then once I've placed it, I have the ability to move it around. I can also grab this piece here between the two segments, and I can move that back and forth. I can also continue adjusting the size of the box here, which will adjust the length of the leader line. And if I'm over here on the other side, then I have to choose, do I want my text to actually be adjusted, justified on the left-hand side or the right? It's usually going to look best if you just keep everything left justified, both here and here, left justified. Okay, and then I could actually mess around with some of these leader line settings too, but this always looks good at the top at the left. So I probably won't make adjustments there. Okay, coming back over here, this leader line somehow lost its two segments and it's only got one. There's a grip right here in the middle, and all I need to do is pull that until you feel it kind of snap horizontally for the first segment, and I'll do the same thing here. It will help you to see when you've actually aligned what I call the knuckle or the bend. And you would like to align that as much as you possibly can. Now let's try this trick, because this alignment trick, because you can see I've got three notes here that are close together but they're not in alignment. I'm going to select all three of those, and then some new tools pop up. I'm going to align these elements to the left, and then I'm going to space them out vertically, evenly. And that looks really nice. The best thing I could do would be to actually make all of those angles come out at the same spot. That looks even nicer. Okay, and then I can do the same thing in other areas. I wouldn't want to align these with this upper tier because I like how close these are to the building, and I don't want to pull them further back. So we'll leave these where they're at. I'll select all these and just do the same thing. Put them in alignment, distribute them equally. Looks like it's already been done. Okay, and then I can do the same thing here. Still going to align to the left. You can see that there are other ways of aligning, but that's not what I want to do. I just want this one. Lines them to the left. Okay, and these ones are already in alignment, so I'll leave that where it's at. You may need to pay attention to something like this. Our text and our dimension strings are sort of in conflict if this is too far over. And it's okay for these to pull back and cross over as long as they don't go through any text lines. Or you could do it the way that I had it previously, which is just to keep this over here on the right. What that did is it required me to take my levels and just pull them out far enough. I still have some of these higher and lower depending on what I need so that text doesn't run into each other. And let me just show how that's done. Initially it looked like this. I select that level, I use the little elbow. That'll shift things, maybe not where you want it to go, but it will shift. and then I can pull that from its grip up or down. And you're also welcome to do this. You don't have to have that thing come over and then down at an angle. Whatever your preference is fine there. Just make sure you're consistent. If this one's angled, this one ought to also be angled. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do, because I like my text notes to be red, or sorry, my dimensions to be red, I'm going to select that, edit the type, and I'm going to turn this into a red dimension type by just clicking on a color and then making it darker. You don't want it to be too bright. Make it a little bit darker. That looks great. How did I do this, by the way? Well, we've done it before. I'll just show it again. DI is the shortcut for dimension. And you just pick the datums. That's all you have to do. Make it one string. Go all the way up, and then you would move it over into position. If you need to drag one of the text notes away because they're conflicting with some other lines, grab their little grip, pull it away, you'll get a leader, and now it looks great. Okay, that's what you want to do on annotations around the house. Call out anything that you think requires it, or it would be hard to know what's going on or hard to understand without it. Now, some things are going to be more obvious than others, like I need to call out my roofing material. I need to call out my siding material. You can see I've got that called out over here. I need to call out the size of trim that I've got. And if I've got anything that's not siding, this is a really important one because we wouldn't know what that material is. In this case, it's kind of a waterproofed plywood that I've just added paint to. If you have a window that's too high to see in plan view, then you could label it with your tag tool, and then I also put in a note for that one. Make sure you're very thorough on calling out everything on the front elevation. In the other elevations, you may not need to call out everything. Watch my video on how to compose a sheet so that you'll know beforehand what needs to be annotated.